I'm gonna. Okay, it's going live now. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is another edition to Highlander Wrestling Show. Oh, this is one I told y'all about. I'm going to do it's originally going to be about the history of women of wrestling, which there's a lot of controversy behind that. And people say this and that women are better wrestlers now, which, here, there, say. But anyway, this is a DVD I got a while back. The Evolution WWE Women Division Evolution. It's a good DVD, except that they didn't have a very good stuff in there too, and especially Attitude Era stuff, which I know one of those controversial things. Uh, but anyway, I'm going to start off by talking about the late great Fabulous Moolah, which there's a lot of hard feelings towards her for some odd reason. A lot of bad stuff been talked bad about her and everything. They was going to do a memorial women's battle royal called the Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, which they changed it. They say, is the longest reigning champion of all time, next to Bruno Sammartino. She won the title in 1956, and in 1985, Wendy Richter came along and took the title. Fabulous Moolah, I think that's about maybe 3 decades she's held that title, or I don't know, it might be. Go ahead and just say 4 decades, just to be on the safe side, give or take. Uh, yeah, she was on the Rock and Wrestling cartoon. Uh, she also came to have her rematch with Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah came to do a rematch with Wendy Richter, where she was wearing the mask, and she was called the Spider, and which there was another woman that did the almost exact same thing, which I always thought was funny. Uh, yeah, but Fabulous Moolah would get the women by the hair, spin them around the ring. She was a classic wrestler, woman's wrestler. She was tough. I mean, she had her, whatever they say was going on, whether a lot of people were fussing about it. I never will know the whole story or what is the truth. Uh, but uh, but yeah, Wendy Richter is another one. She was a great champion, women's champion. She had the '80s look. She came out about the music of Cyndi Lauper and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. She was also on the Rock and Wrestling cartoon, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. She was a big deal in the '80s because of that. Her and Heidi Lee Morgan had a match. I'd had no idea they had a match, which I found by accident. I was always wondering if they did. Which was a very good match. It was not at the WWE though, or excuse me, at the time WWF. It was at a Women's Championship Wrestling. I want to say is what it was. Is the name of the company? Have to go back and look at it to make sure. Uh, it was in a cage match. It didn't last very long, but it was good to see those two legends in the ring. Heidi Lee Morgan was another great woman's history in wrestling. She was another historical women of wrestling. Friends with her on Facebook. I hope she sees this video. Uh, let's see. Now we're gonna go down a little bit through the years. Let's say the Attitude Era. That's a good place to start back on. The Attitude Era. A lot of people fussed about it because the women didn't do this, do that, which that was everybody has their own preference. I always found that to be a very glorious time for the women wrestlers. You had something to the men to look at. You know, You had the women could watch it now because of that, which it was not made for kids. The Attitude Era was not for young kids originally. Mostly your 13-year olds and up, are the ones that was watching it, and me included, because I was about 13 years old when all that was going on. You had Sable, you had Ivory, China, the Cat. Uh, you had Jacqueline, who was the first black female champion, which she was a very good champion, along with Naomi and Amber Moon, which I'm going to get into them a little bit more here in a minute. You had, let's see, who else was there? I'm forgetting. I know I'm forgetting. Oh, yeah, Luna Vachon. She was the daughter of Butch Vachon, a very rough man. I mean, he had that gruff, growly voice. He helped Pat Patterson out a whole lot in his career. He was, she had a legacy to go by in history. She was a woman, first woman of that bunch to be a wrestler. Let's see who else. And then, well, let's go down a little bit more. We'll keep going back and forth. Now we're going, like I was saying before, with the Spider Woman, that the Spider that Fabulous Miller went by. Uh, Mickey James disappeared for a while. She went to Impact Wrestling, which she was not that good in Impact Wrestling. I wasn't for Impact Wrestling. She came back as a masked wrestler, which was ironic because Fabulous Miller did the same thing. I can't remember what she went by. She had a blue and red mask, or was it blue? Well, anyway, it was a blue mask. Uh, then I think she's doing her own thing now. She's not even coming back. I don't believe. I think she's got her own little country music thing going on right now, and which that's good. She deserves a break from the ring. But now Mickey James, before she came to the WWE, she was in Women's Extreme Wrestling, where she went by Larex Lorraine, which, in my opinion, she did a better in-ring performance when she was in there. I got a few of the DVDs of Women of Extreme Wrestling, which that was another one that was not made for kids. It was, pretty raunchy in a lot of ways. You had a guy in there that was trying to be like The Rock, and you had a bunch of other things in there too. Let's see, in ECW, like I said, I was going back and forth. ECW was along with the Attitude Era. You had Francine, Don Marie, Sunny, W. Sunny / Tammy Lynn Cinch was one of my all-time favorite women managers. She never really wrestled, but she was a better manager. I liked her as a manager. As a matter of fact, here's a little action figure I got of her. Very cool. I was proud to find that. Yeah, she was a big part of the ECW. Her husband Chris Candino and Lance Storm, and it's been so long since I watched it. I can't keep up with a half of this. I'm trying to keep up with. You have to bear with me because after 30 some years of watching wrestling, you kind of start slipping on some of the stuff. Start leaving you. Uh, but yeah, ECW had a lot of great women wrestlers like uh, McGillicuddy, Beulah McGillicuddy. She was, a big deal in ECW too. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff that they did in the ring. A lot of people say that the women, like I said, the women now are better in the ring performance than women of yesteryears, which I disagree. It was different. But like I said, everybody's got their own preference. Just like people say WWE is not wrestling, it's wrestling entertainment. But at the same time, you're watching wrestling to be entertained. So I look at all sports to be sports entertainment. So that's just my preference on it. But anyway, um, But now, as far as some of the stuff they got out there now, uh, let's see. Let me think of a good place to start at. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the Attitude Era. You had Lita. Lita was another one of my favorite out of the Attitude Era. As far as between her and Trish Stratus, I have to say Lita was better than Trish Stratus. Like I said, people may disagree with me. Like I said, that's preference. Everybody's got their opinions. Lita just did a lot more in the ring than Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus was more eye candy than anything else, in my opinion. Lita was both, in my opinion. Uh, just like with Ronda Rousey coming into the WWE, I liked it, but they made her out to be another Brock Lesnar. That's what ruined it for me right there. Is when they did it with they made her out to be another Brock Lesnar, female Brock Lesnar. She uh, she could have done a whole lot more. She needed to forget about that whole USC and look that she had and everything. Just go straight to wrestling. This is WWE. Just like now Ken Shamrock and all them, they basically they were wrestlers. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, Natalia was a former WWE Women's Champion. In my opinion, she was the better out of her and Beth Phoenix. I never was a Beth Phoenix fan. Natalia has to be the best women's wrestler, one of them anyway, in the ring. You had the Kabuki Warriors, which is Asuka and Kairi Singh, I think is how you say her name. Asuka was always one of my favorites, even though she's considered a heel now. I still, she's doing the thing like the great Kabuki and the great Muta and all them that spewed out the green mist and everything, which was pretty cool to see something come back. Old school stuff. Which I never understood really what that stuff is. I know it's in a little capsule they got in their mouth, and then when it's time for them to do it, they'll bite it and bust it, and then they'll spew it out. But I don't know what the stuff is actually, if it's a dye or it can't be a dye because who wants to walk around with green teeth unless you have really good toothbrush and mouthwash. Oh yeah, I want to talk about another great match, women's match. That happened. Well, it went on back and forth for a while. Sable and Jacqueline had great matches together. It was down and dirty. Still, I consider it wrestling. They had a really great back and forth rivalry back in the Attitude Era. Francine has had rivalries with a lot of the greats. If I'm not mistaken, I think her and Sensational Queen or Sensational Sherry, however you want to reference her at the moment. Matter of fact, I got one of her figures up here, Sensational Sherry. She was a great manager. She was a tough woman. She could hang in there even with the men. Uh, she was a very unique. She was at the right time at the right place. I loved it when she was in WWF, and I liked it when she came to ECW. I didn't wasn't too fond of her when she was in WCW, which I wasn't a WCW fan. Um, she did really great in the AWA too when she was managing. I think it was Playboy Buddy Rose, I believe, is who her and I can't remember who the other guy was. Anyway, they had a match there and everything in a steel cage. Which Sherry, she was one that you can hear her for a mile away screaming at the man that she was managing at the moment, beating on the side of the ring and everything. And I want to pay also my respects to the late uh, Miss Elizabeth. May she rest in peace. I heard Bret Hart say that she always reminded him a lot of his mother. She was too good for the business. The Macho Man. I don't know how much of it was the truth behind it, because you know how things are. People, after a while, it gets down through time, di- through mouth to mouth. It starts to get blowed up bigger and bigger. They say he didn't do it right, which I'm pretty sure he probably didn't. But I don't know to the degree of it. Basically, um, she was very good for the image of the Macho Man of wrestling, which a lot of people misrepresent that when they say lady. She was the first actual female lady manager in the business. You never really seen her interfere in nothing, uh, unless the Macho Man pulled her in front of him when he was in a bind. But other than that, now Francine and all them, they would get in there and help the guys that they was managing. Francine was a vicious woman. I don't know whatever happened. I don't know what she's doing now, but I've always been a big fan of Francine. Dawn Marie also went to WWE. I think she's had her child, or she might be done had another child by now. I'm not really sure. She married some rich old man. Uh, she was another big deal for the ECW. But like, let's see. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Landra Blaze or Medusa or however you want to, whatever it is you want to name her. Loved it when she was in the World Wrestling Federation and liked it when she was in the AWA. She sucked in WCW. That's my preference. She did a really good job in the WWE as the women's champion. Her and Bull Nakano had a lot of great matches. They did one in Japan where I think that's where it was at, where she beat Alondra Blaze for the women's champion, and Alondra came back and beat her for it again. Uh, let's see. There was another woman wrestler that it was her and Fabulous Moolah at WrestleMania 2. Velvet McIntyre. She was from she was from Ireland, so that was the '80s Becky Lynch. Which I'm gonna go back now. I like Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is not really what you call a wrestler. She's a brawler. She was like Sheamus and all that. She wasn't. Velvet McIntyre could wrestle. Oh, now I like Becky Lynch. Don't get me wrong. I got two of her figures. Well, three of them actually. I like Becky Lynch. But anyway, just like now, let's go back to Asuka. Asuka, in my opinion, they should give her more of a run in the women's champion, SmackDown or Raw champion than they did Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Forget, Charlotte. Yes, Charlotte's got the name. Her dad was Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Everybody just falls down and just, everything, which I'm not a Ric Flair fan. He was more flash than anything else. If you watch him in the ring once, you've seen him wrestle 100 times. Every match is the exact same. Charlotte's the same way. Uh, but well, I just like that match at this past WrestleMania with Becky and Charlotte against Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, they pushed her so much that, which I'm glad she came in there. She was good for the business. Don't get me wrong. She was really good for the business. She was, a UFC fighter, but they made her out to be another daggum Brock Lesnar. And that's just something that just eats me alive. Uh, you know, that only goes but so far her style. I mean, there's 100 women out there that could actually beat her. And that's not even in the UFC. Uh, in my opinion, one on one in a match in wrestling, even in the UFC octagon, Oscar could take her. Oscar could. Uh, Now the Bella twins, I want to talk a little bit about them. I don't know what you would call the Bella twins. I was never impressed with them. I never was. They just to me they wasn't even really what you call attractive, in my opinion. Like I said, other people may find that difference of opinion. Bailey is another woman wrestler that I guess you can give her the title, but I don't know. That's hard to say what I want to say about that. Sasha Banks can wrestle. She has some good moves she can pull out. Now Dana Brooks is another one I think they have overlooked. I like Dana Brooks. I got two of her figures. Dana Brooks can actually she can surprise you. I think she could hold the women's title and be a good champion. They just hadn't done it to her yet. Which now Asuka and uh, her partner, the Kabuki Warriors, I'm glad they're the women's tag team champions, which that's the best women's tag team champions I've ever seen. But Natalia, like I said, I'm gonna go back to Natalia now. Natalia, they need to let her hold the title one more time, at least one more time, one more final run, because Natalia's an excellent wrestler, women's wrestler. She can actually get in there and hang with the boys. Uh, but anyway, but now I want to talk about I almost forgot about these two. Naomi, the Glow, Feel the Glow, Naomi. Naomi's pretty good. Um, she's a little bit more agile than Jacqueline, but as far as just you know pound for pound toughness, Jacqueline's got her beat. Now Amber Moon, on the other hand, Amber Moon is tough. She's very good. I like Amber Moon too. She's cool to watch. She's better than Alicia Fox, which I always thought Alicia Fox, trying to say it right. She was entertaining. She wasn't that great of a wrestler, but she was entertaining. I'll give her. That's the good part. Uh, let's see. Paige was the first women's NXT champion. I think that's right. She's the only woman in wrestling that's held in NXT and held the WWE title in the women's division. Held both. The first one to hold them. Now, actually, Fab. Let's go back a little bit further back. I think it was in 2000 and before Fabulous Moolah died. She went and entered a women's. I guess you call it like a battle royal. I think it's what it was basically. Is it the exact what the match was escapes me. She won the title again at her age, and she was like 70 something years old. So she's actually died a two-time women's champion or three-time women's champion. Uh, like now she managed another great good champion for the time, Lilani Kai, which I don't know whatever happened to Lilani Kai. She didn't last very long for some odd reason, only a couple of years. But uh, but yeah, this let's see.